Hello and welcome back to the Master of the Metaverse. First time viewers, hit those likes, hit those subscribe buttons. Here we do things a little differently, okay? Because if you want something different for your life and for your family, you have to dare to do something different. This is episode 50 and we're finishing up year 1. Okay, today I'm very excited to discuss healthcare in the metaverse out of respect for our first responders and all the doctors and all the real heroes out there. I got suited up and booted up for the live stream, okay? But folks, right now, the metaverse, right now it's a buzzword or it's some video game, okay? Or is it life-saving breakthrough technology? I promise you, it ain't just a fucking video game. Excuse me, I know I get emotional, I know I'm dramatic. Right, but we're gonna go back real quick to episode 1 of the Master of the Metaverse, to Graybeard's bold predictions.
You know, the real world, digital world, they're interweaving. They're interweaving. And if you don't know what movie that's from, you can get off my channel right now. I got some bold predictions for this metaverse business. Some people are saying that the metaverse is going to be the place to go to work, or the place to play games, most likely, or the place to hang out. And I agree. I agree that's where it's headed, but I agree that's just the start. That is just the start of where this whole thing is going. That the things past those things is what excites me. My bold prediction is, folks, that the metaverse will create not one, but maybe more Nobel Peace Prize winners. And I don't know, like I'm trying to wrap my head on that concept, but I'm pretty sure something crazy is gonna manifest out of all this, guys.
We're gonna read into an article from CNBC regarding healthcare and the medical field. Metaverse, the digital world's next big thing, is touted as the internet domain where animated avatars of our physical selves will be able to virtually do all sorts of interactivities, from shopping to gaming to traveling. Someday. Walks say it could be a decade or longer before necessary technologies catch up with the hype. Right now, though, the healthcare industry is utilizing some of the essential components that will ultimately comprise the metaverse. Virtual reality, VR, augmented reality, AR, mixed reality, MR, and artificial intelligence, AI, as well as the software and hardware to power their applications. For example, medical device companies are using MR to assemble surgical tools and design operating rooms. The World Health Organization is using AR and smartphones to train COVID-19 responders. Psychiatrists are using VR to treat post-traumatic stress, PTS, among combat soldiers, and medical schools are using VR for surgical training. Wow. Okay, well, let's go into, before we get into the good stuff, let's go into an interview right here. So let's watch this interview and see what they got to say.
Welcome back. Microsoft's annual Ignite conference is going on right now with CEO Satya Nadella's keynote happening this hour and featuring Alex Kipman. Alex Kipman's the creator behind the augmented reality HoloLens, the Kinect gaming accessory before that. And he's currently a fellow at Microsoft, where they're bridging virtual reality and augmented reality and offering tools for business with a new platform called Mesh. I sat down with Alex ahead of Ignite to learn more.
We launched Microsoft Mesh. It's a brand new collaboration platform designed specifically for mixed reality. It's powered by Azure, which means right out of the gate, we get all of the AI compute capabilities of Azure. And it really promises us to take us to new frontiers in mixed reality by really giving developers the freedom to do 3 things. The first thing is it allows us to experience mixed reality together, meaning everybody sharing in every hologram all at the same time in the same room. The next thing it allows us to do is have that same experience even when we're not in the same room, so that we can essentially experience agency in mixed reality. We can be there either as an avatar or as a holoportation so that we can feel like we're in the same place even when we're not there. And then ultimately, it allows us to have this collaborative mixed reality experience from any different device, which means we can connect now augmented reality, devices like HoloLens, to virtual reality, devices like our Windows virtual reality headsets or the Oculus headsets, and even 2D devices like PCs or mobile phones.
What is the leading edge use case for virtual and augmented reality now? Because I think we've seen some forays with limited success, but not like a mainstream momentum. We saw Pokemon Go, but we didn't see a series of games the way that we've seen a series of first-person action games or role-playing games, things like that. How is this going to take off across multiple different cases, including gaming, workplace productivity, general communication?
That's a great question. I think mixed reality today is really focused in more the enterprise and productivity settings. That's where we're finding great success with mixed reality today, where, for example, 50% of Fortune 500 companies have already purchased HoloLens 2. And, many different brands from L'Oreal to Mercedes to Toyota have already deployed at scale mixed reality deployments. So we're finding great momentum and success in enterprise and in workloads that have to do with productivity, communication, learning, teaching, and things of that nature.
Experience, I was able to make an avatar in the VR environment, move it into AR, collaborate with Alex. But my question for him was, you start talking about enterprise, what are the long-term prospects of this technology? Because remember Google Glass? I asked Kitman about that comparison.
Let's talk about Google Glass for a minute. It's that same equation. They got to a form factor that potentially was socially acceptable without enough immersion, right? And that immersion and form factor, look, the real estate of someone's face, it takes a lot of value before you're willing to put something on your face. So I do think we need to think a little bit about that. Value, immersion, and comfort as kind of the three variables. Now to the phone conversation, phones started in the 80s, right? In primarily a business setting. They progressed in the 90s where they became smart, primarily in an enterprise case as well. You're absolutely correct that in the 2000s, with the advent of the iPhone, things became consumer and hockey sticked. But in a sense, that journey also took a bit of time before you got there. And I think the same thing you're going to see here, right? When I see the signal we're finding in enterprise, the momentum that we are finding in enterprise, and I know where we are pushing the technology in terms of immersion and comfort and value, I feel very good that you are looking at, more glasses form factors that are socially acceptable and immersive in the next couple of years.
Holy moly. Okay. I think Microsoft is doing unique things, and I thought that was important to show you that, to see that it is a paradigm shift. This is not something that is just kind of being tickled with. No, the major tech giants and companies are jumping all the way in right now. Like I've been saying, people think this is just video games. All right, but I'm going to prove it to you right now. Here we go. Promise you. This is Microsoft HoloLens. And check that out. That's where this is headed for patients. And it's meant to be helpful in many different ways. Right here, enhance patient treatment.
Concern was that we were going to have mass casualties with thousands of people dying, and that the hospital was going to be overrun. And it was immediately obvious that we were not protected, we didn't have enough PPE, and so there was a lot of fear that actually we were all going to get really sick. And then in the second week of March, that's exactly what happened. We lost a third of our team in a week. I was sat there at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, and I counted 29 people in a close proximity in a single trauma call. And I was thinking, well, if this is how we're going to run the next few weeks, a lot of people are going to get sick, and we have to change this really dramatically. The simple concept was, look, we're going to create completely virtual ward rounds. Rather than sending 4 people, we're going to send 1 doctor in. very quickly started working with the headsets to identify some use cases. So when you place the headset on your head, what the user will see is a virtual screen or a mixed reality screen, which they can position into any real space in the room that they're standing in. And on that screen at the moment will be the face of one of their colleagues who will be interacting with that user through a webcam based on a desktop. We can call other experts that we might want to call into that clinical scenario. And we can also pull up images and content. So we can look at electronic healthcare record data or x-rays or images. And what it means is that you have all the information, all the specialist care that you need at the patient's bedside, there and then. And it's all in one headset. When this crisis hit, it became apparent that the NHS had to work in a different way, and through really high-level strategic kind of digital infrastructure projects, Teams was just nationally adopted by the NHS. Teams really is now, I would say, an essential tool. We could not run our organisation pretty much without it. The fact that their staff are safe, their ward rounds are really efficient, and that they can communicate more effectively with their staff. COVID-19 will change everything forever in terms of the way we work and how we work. In terms of mixed reality, HoloLens 2 really is the only viable product that we have in the space. And I can see a point where these sorts of tools will be the norm, where you will go on a ward round, or you will go into a clinic, or you will go into an environment that might be high risk, that might be challenging, or where you might need specific capabilities of these sorts of technologies, and it will be there, and you'll just use it, and it won't be a novelty. What I'm absolutely convinced of is that we are just at the very beginning of a very long and exciting journey. And I think what's been very important about COVID is actually it's just given us a real shot in the arm and a huge step change in our perception of these technologies and what value they might bring.
Holy moly. All right. Well, thank you for joining me here. And like I mentioned a year ago when I started my YouTube channel, is that I'm blown away by what's happening in the medical field when it relates to the metaverse, okay? So I'm very, very excited of what the future holds. And don't worry, good old Graybeard's gonna be all over. I'm gonna cover it and I'm gonna share it. And I'm happy now that I get to present everything that is happening out there to the public, to the people. Make sure everybody knows the truth about what's happening out there, okay? So that's it for me for this stream, for episode 50 extreme. Excuse me. We're going over the last section, category, which is education and training. It could be controversial, but just like the medical field, they're doing some significant things. Okay, I want to remind everybody before we go of the only thing that matters, right? Yeah. The only thing that matters in this world is not how much money you have, what car you drive, or how many friends you got, okay? The only thing that matters is how we treat other people, okay? Until next time, peace be the journey, and one.